Hello guys, and welcome to what will be the fourth cast in the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. My name is Guile, and today I'm going to be presenting you with a 1v1 ladder match of the latest patch 3613 of FAF between FunkOff and SmuggledBrain. I wasn't actually 100% sure whether I was going to cast this match. Generally what I do when I'm trawling through replays is I watch a few minutes at very, very high speed, and if it looks like it's going to be interesting, then I'll have a go at recording it, and if it makes the grade after that, I'll upload it to you guys. And as I say, I wasn't too sure because I hadn't heard of this SmuggledBrain guy before. And it does appear that Funk hasn't either. If you look at the conversation, he's asking if he's new. Brain confidently replying, saying he is new. Funk, if you're not aware or you're new to FAF, has been one of the long-standing players for a very, very long time, and I believe at the time of recording this, he is currently top of the rankings on Forged Alliance Forever. Obviously he's not sure how well this guy's going to fare if he's saying he's new. But it was, I think, around minute 5 or 6 it became evident to me that Funk was getting a little bit trolled. So I thought, you know what, this deserves a decent look. So just having a look at what we're going with down here. Now this is kind of interesting. There's no way to get up on these higher ledges, so you've got to build your factory, build onto it, or airlift. Everybody usually prefers to build onto it, and he's actually gone with a land factory, which is kind of interesting. I'm going to bet Funk probably hasn't. Yep, he's gone with his air factory, which seems a lot more sense, because obviously any units produced up there are going to be completely redundant if they can't get off there once they've built the mass points. You might as well shove an air factory up there to make use of it. But this particular map is called Red Rocks. It's one of my favourites, actually, of the ladder matches, so I've been looking forward to casting one of these. Mainly because it is a small, close-knit map, but at the same time you've got a lot of water, so there's a lot of room for diversity in play. It's not just a Tech 1 land spam battle. So yeah, it generally makes for some quite interesting games. The only way onto the central island from the sea is kind of from this section here. You see the slightly beachier section, sort of up round here, and then it gets round here, and this is actually a cliff edge where it can't be scaled. Funk coming out with the early bomber though to try and deny some of this early mass. Pretty standard play. But Funk electing to take his commander onto the middle, that's a little bit more standard. I usually do see more people do that than just the engineer, because you're going to need as much build power on this central section as possible, because otherwise you really don't want to yield this to your opponent, because it's a good proportion of the mass. I believe is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on this central area. That doesn't look right actually. Sorry, 4, 8, 10, 12. Can't count. There we go, 12. As opposed to the accumulative 8, 4, and 4 on the side island. So it's pretty important. But Brain not getting too phased by this early bomber harass. He's got some air units out for himself. He's got his own little bomber, which I imagine he's going to be doing some harass with. Finally electing to take his commander across to the middle. But he's a little bit behind. Funk has got 2 land factories already spamming engineers out, and that'll soon move, I imagine, into tanks and artillery. Because it's so important, and not to mention there's also a lot of reclaimable mass in the form of rocks right here on the middle surface. But Brain doing a nice job actually of trying to command the air. Now we've already got a Tech 1 frigate coming out Navy. Brain has got his Navy sorted, but he's making a play for this bottom left island, which is always nice. He's getting a few Tech 1 NGs airlifted in. And he's now going to do a little bit of harassment over the base, taking out a few engineers. And this is the point at which the penny drops, is kind of where I saw it too. New A is starting to realise that he's not coming up against a complete newbie. He's coming up against somebody who knows what they're doing. But this is something that I've seen a few players do as well. Is some nice templates of power plants lined up like this. The reason for that is obviously it's very, very tempting just when you're building power, just to get your engineer and draw a line and just forget about it. And you know, that's fine. That'll probably get it built the quickest. But it does, however, leave it very, very vulnerable to air power. Obviously, if you have any Tech 1 or Tech 2 bombers, they can just come in along the line of that, and those bombs can take out 2 or 3 power plants at a time. If you spread it out like this, it makes it a lot less vulnerable, and it's a lot more time-consuming for your opponent if they get into your base to do any real damage to your power, which is obviously one of the first things people go for when they're trying to sabotage someone's production, because it is so easy to take out. And this Tech 1 frigate going to be dispatched by an early Tech 1 sub. But he's taking out some more Funk, and he's also making his own play for the bottom left island. There is a factory up down here now for Brain, so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes on. And it's going to be Tech 1 light artillery versus a Tech 1 frigate. He's going to probably come off second best there, Brain, I would imagine. But yeah, as I say, Funk now changing his mind, maybe? Where on earth is he taking this? No, he's going to drop them in the ocean. That's an interesting decision. Quite sure what that's about. I guess he's maybe worried about some anti-air down here. Finally, he's reached Brain's base on the south coast of the middle island. He's going to see off those initial scouting units. This engineer probably hasn't got long to live unless he gets it out of there. And an interesting little fracas happening on the top of the map as well. Both players have established bases. However, it is 2 Lang factories to 1, so it's probably going to be Funk who comes off second best here. Desperately trying to repair the factory as damage is being done to it. Probably makes sense actually if these 3 engineers were set to reclaim. There we go. Obviously there's a hell of a lot to concentrate on when you're on a ladder match. And that'll go down. And that should yield top island to Brain, which is good because he's lost the bottom island, and the middle island isn't looking too healthy either. I mean, commander on commander, the span isn't going to be able to do too much, but if you look at the build power, you've got 3 factories down here to the 6 factories up here. I mean, that's, you know, that's only going to go one way if it's allowed to continue much longer. So Brain really needs to increase the capacity on there. But of course the problem is most of his build power is in the form of this commander, and that's going to be tied up now in defense. Neither player is electing yet to move into Tech 2 Navy. Instead, both players focusing on trying to pump out as much spam as possible into the middle. It really is key that, as I say, if there was a drawback to this map, it is perhaps the potential that generally whoever wins this central fight here is going to win the match, purely because of the amount of mass on it that's everywhere else. But it does make for some interesting maps, but Funk's actually getting quite low here. He's down to 4,000 HP or so, as opposed to this just under 7,000 for Brain. But Funk does have the amount, or the advantage in land units, but down to 2,000 now. He needs to get out of there. Brain could have actually walked on him. I wouldn't blame him if he went for the draw there, because even if he dies, he'd take Funk with him at that kind of health. And it would be very tempting, I can imagine, for a lot of players, if they get paired up against Funk in ladder, to think, you know what, a draw, that's not so bad, I'll take it, yeah. But no, he's not going to do that. He's determined to go for the win, which is all power to him. Engineer doing a cheeky little mass grab up here, stealing that one. And a few Tech 1 subs coming around, and they're going to try and engage these frigates. It's going to be 1-on-1 here, so unless he doesn't go for this sub, he should come off the winner there. Funk's still in the red, only just, but still in the red, needing to retreat back to his base. Brain doing the same, not wanting to get too involved. But look at the torrent of Tech 1 that's coming out of Funk's base now. That's a lot to deal with, and it doesn't really look like Brain has anywhere near enough units, and they're going to get swept aside quite easily. Especially with their composition of light artillery in there, just do so much damage to the Lobos. He's actually trying to counteract it with Tech 2 fighter bombers. And he's actually trying to make a play for his commander. I haven't noticed he's down to 1,500. So Funk really needs to be careful. His whole mission is definitely in jeopardy here. It doesn't matter how well you're doing on the middle island. the commander dies, that's you out down to 1,000 hit points. And he's having to be very, very careful here, skirting in and out of the beach. But he's got a governor out now, and that should give him excellent air cover. I do like that play. He's got up to Tech 2. Oh my god, what happened there? 200 hit points. And Funk skirting off back into the water. Has he got anything else he can throw at him? More Tech 2 bombers, torpedo bombers coming in. But his brain's completely lost his manufacturing base on the middle island. So it really is all or nothing now, because he's lost the bottom, he's lost the middle. And if he can't snipe the commander, it's going to look like he's yielded the game. Desperately trying to get some reps on his commander there, increase his HP. Was thinking about an upgrade for a middle there, but no, changed his mind because Tech 1 subs coming in. It's a shame he hadn't brought them those round earlier, actually. I did see them and I wondered maybe, I mean, like I say, there's a lot to think of, but if he'd have brought those round at the same time he was bringing in those bombers, that might have been game. So despite generally being in the commanding position he's in, Funk, he's still got to be so careful, and it does intimidate you when someone's relentlessly going after your ACU like that. Getting some reps on him now. Of course, he's only got 1 star, so that's only an extra 10 hit points a second that he's naturally regenerating. Governor's now doing so much, or the governor doing so much damage. Excellent work at shutting down the air power. And it's just another example of how dominant C units are. If you ever get into a sticky situation like that, and that's why I really enjoy maps like this, because you can turn it around with specific units, which is always fun, rather than just hordes and hordes of the basic same. But Brain lifting off his commander, can Funk see this? If he can shoot it down, it looks like he knows what's going on, but they're just passing over. Is he gonna shoot him down? Cruiser's coming in. Oh no, he's landed. He's landed. Transport promptly getting destroyed. But I mean, this is, I guess, kind of desperation now. Funk throwing out the premature GG, but I don't think it's unwarranted at this point. And Brain knows it. So it's just going to be a matter of time now. But Funk capitulated the fact that, yep, he was in trouble there and he knew it. Who are you? Brain. Stands to reason. Which Brain? Brain Steel? Can't say it's a player I'm familiar with. The washed one. It's not one I know. Refusing to go down without fighting. In he comes. Just popping the T1 power. But as I was saying before, of course, every time one of these goes pop, it's not doing any damage to anything around it because of this spacing. I really do need to make some templates like that for myself. Definitely going to yoink that strategy. But Funk deciding he's had enough. He's actually got less hit points than Brain, so he doesn't really want to be engaging one-on-one because he'll yield a draw. Now he's going to build some triads. That's actually a nice maneuver as well. If any of you knew, to Supreme Commander, if you have your Tech 2 commander, but you've got a bunch of Tech 1 engineers, why not whack down your point defense, move your commander on, start building something else, and just let your T1s work on it. And he's done the same there with the power plant. They can continue any build power that's needed on it, but obviously they can't initiate the build. But yeah, you can't dodge triads forever. The muzzle velocity on them is just too high. It's only going to be a matter of time, I think, before Brain goes down. 2,000, and he's had enough. In he goes with the commander, and Kaflooey. Well, fair play to the washed one, as he's revealed himself to be, or SmuggledBrain. That was a really valiant effort against arguably the #1 player on FAF at the moment. But yeah, I enjoyed that very much, and I hope to see you guys next time.